It's important to have hobbies because it's the epitome of doing something hard that you've never done before.
Right.
Because that's where a hobby starts from. It's not like you might be born with like talents and an inclination to do something better than other things, right? But when you start a hobby, you start from zero. Everybody starts from zero. You start it because you are interested in it. And I think that's a huge part of it. And I've learned, like, hobbies come and go, and that's okay. You don't have to stick to one hobby, but the important part is that you're like experimenting and being interested in certain things. Like, you over the years have probably had the most hobbies.
Yeah, and you always
but I love that because it just makes you a well-rounded person. And like we were born to like do things like that and be interested in certain things and have community with other people that are interested in that thing too.
That's another thing that a lot of people forget to see, that when you have a hobby, let's say playing pool or bowling, and you get good at it, or you're getting better and better at it, that you can join a Facebook page or a league or whatever, and now you're in a community with other people who share the same. Is it horse riding? Now you're a bunch of horse riding. If it's riding dirt bikes, you're now with other people who like to ride dirt bikes. But now
it becomes this like community where it makes
100%.
it even more interesting and enjoyable, and I love that.
Yeah.
And then like for me, my hobby, because I pursued it, became my career, my job / career. And so it's like, it's still kind of my hobby, but I still am able to work.
If I was to give somebody a piece of advice that truly goes like, I don't know where to start for a hobby, I would say start with running.
Yeah.
Because running,
it's a hard thing.
It's very difficult. There's a mental war that you have to have with yourself. But what's great about it is this is where it becomes a hobby. It doesn't matter if it's a weight loss thing or an endurance thing or just completing a number. There's a measuring rod for a level of success. Yeah. Right. So
whatever you want it to be.
You and I both, the measuring rod to determine success was how long can you run for? It went from 2 miles to 3 miles to 4 to now 11. Now you're doing half a marathon. That's a measuring rod. You're better today than you were yesterday. And then if that's not the thing, then it's a speed thing. Can you do a 6-minute mile? Can you do a 5-minute mile? Can you improve on those aspects? Or even outside of that, you go, can you run every day for 5 days?
Yeah, there's so many different measuring rods that are.
And once you do that, you now have
specific.
A thing.
Yeah.
Like I specifically remember when I couldn't run more than a mile, and I had to look. I legitimately, this is going back to technique. Look through my search history. It was me Googling good techniques for running, and I'm watching YouTube videos of guys going, okay, so you want to stand up, tall. You want to lean forward a little bit with your shoulders. That way, it's your forward momentum. Don't stomp your feet onto. Like, there's these little things that you go, oh, this will make my life easier.
Yeah, it is. It's doing that hard thing of but like pursuing that over time, not just like, oh, I ran.
Yeah. Good. And then next thing you know, you're having a conversation with somebody on the airplane, and you're talking about, oh, they're a marathon runner. And then you're like...
And you'd be surprised how many people, once they start doing that, actually enjoy it.
100%. Nobody starts it because it's enjoyable for them. It's very difficult.
It's so difficult. But
you pant the entire time in the beginning.
You start... what's the word I'm looking for? Not looking forward to it, but... like desire, your body is telling you, hey... Like, you need to go run.
And there's no better high.
I'm trying to think of the word
afterwards. Your body craves it.
That's what I was gonna say. You're craving that, and I love that because I never ran in my whole life until right before I met you is when I started running, and it was the same thing. It took probably 2 months before I started enjoying it.
And
that's a long time.
And the craving doesn't come from, oh, I can't wait for go to a nice, beautiful, scenic run.
No.
The craving that I have
is the feeling you get after.
100%. There's days that I will wake up with a Harper in the middle of the night.
You never say, I want to go run.
Yeah. You know what I want to do is go do something very difficult.
It's you're chasing that feeling you get after because you feel so good. And then obviously the benefits from it too afterwards, the long term.
Yeah,
definitely.
There's days that when we'll wake up with Harper in the middle of the night and we'll feel wrecked in the morning, and we're gonna be filming, and I need to go work out.
It's even more important
because it will give me clarity afterwards. And I think a lot of people don't understand
you have
that.
a brain fog, go run or work out. Both are great, but I think even just running is a good one to start with.
And lifting weights is another one. Like if it's for like specific guy, I mean, girls is the same approach for lifting weights, but if the fear is like bulking or whatever, but like even lifting heavy weights, you go, oh, last week I could lift this weight and this week I could lift this for this many reps. And that's another thing. It's just to do difficult things. And I think once you have, that's why I said those are very good things to start with, is because the amount of results that you get from it mentally, it now makes you become more limitless. I 100% attribute to my mental state of like the risks that I take and my confidence and just self-belief in myself comes from two things: the podcast that I listen to and running. Like where that all came from. By doing multiple half marathons and difficult runs, all have shaped different aspects of my life that makes me go, if I could do that, what else can I do? That's 100% attributed to that. Yeah, because then, I mean, the clarity, you're absolutely right.
Hey, thanks for watching our Next Door Neighbors podcast.
And be sure to capture the full episode anywhere podcasts are streamed and including our YouTube channel, Next Door Neighbors.